Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Martial Universe Season 9 Part 67 based on novel. So let's start. Majestic yuan power swept across the sky like a storm. The startling momentum caused many onlookers to be shocked as they quickly withdrew from fiery flame city. Bang! A mysterious array was formed by 29 figures in the sky. Majestic yuan power flowed like a stream, connected everyone together. This allowed their auras to be in a state of extreme equilibrium. When they attacked and defended, it was as if they were a single being. The 29 sharp spear shadows penetrated through the empty space at the same time. After which, the spear shadows began to merge together in a peculiar fashion. Finally, accompanied by a terrifying strength, it was ruthlessly directed towards General Lang Mo, whose monstrous aura filled the sky. Skywolf slash. General Lang Mo looked at this fearsome attack. He laughed coldly as he clenched his hand. Majestic demonic aura directly gathered in his hand. Finally, it transformed into a 1,000 feet large giant black blade. A ferocious black wolf on the blade howled towards the sky before he suddenly slashed it downwards furiously. The blade slashed downwards and the space was immediately split apart. The attack was not yet completed, but a 10,000 feet large deep gully had already appeared on the ground below. This terrifying strength caused one's heart to shudder. Spear shadow and blade light clashed. After which, a shocking sound resounded. Every building within 1,000 feet radius was directly blown into dust. Huge cracks spread like glaring spiderweb on the ground. 29 figures withdrew in the sky in illusion before all their bodies jerked. The eroding force that was headed their way was perfectly intercepted by them. In this way, that terrifying attack, which could seriously injure a perfect profound death stage expert, only left minor injuries on all of them. What a mysterious skill that unites their bodies. Lindong wore a surprised expression as he observed the intense fight in the sky. He could clearly sense that the energy of the 29 people in the formation had been basically united together. Their offensive strength increased by 29 times, while the damage that they received would be 1 out of 29. Even Lindong involuntarily felt a little shocked in the face of this mysterious formation. It's no wonder Tang Xinlian had the confidence to fight against that Yimo general. Kill. Tang Xinlian's bright eyes were icy cold. Her pretty face turned slightly pale because of that ferocious clash previously. However, it was soon replenished by waves of majestic yuan power that surged into her body. The fire phoenix spear in her hand shook and began to hum. With a cold cry, the 29 of them once again shot forward as one. The shocking clash continued to erupt in the sky. The formation formed by 29 individuals controlled the surging yuan power and continuously fought with General Lang Mo, who was surrounded by a monstrous aura. The towering buildings below were all turned into dust under the waves of energy ripples radiating in the sky. Lindong stared at the increasingly intense battle before his eyes turned slightly cold. With the help of his outstanding mental energy, he was able to vaguely detect that with the flow of time, the ferocity of the Yimo general's attacks gradually pushed the 29 of them into a disadvantage. After all, there was too large of a gap between the profound death stage and the samsara stage. Even though Tang Xinlian's group had used the formation to become one, there was ultimately still a gap between them and a true samsara stage expert. Therefore, even though they might be able to temporarily fight against a samsara stage expert by relying on the formation, with the flow of time, various flaws would be eventually exposed. Clearly, Tang Xinlian had to use another technique before these flaws were completely exposed. Otherwise, they would be scattered by the Yimo general once the formation was broken. Without their combined strength, they were no match for the Yimo general in a one-on-one fight. It is time to change things. Lindong looked at the fiery red brilliant figure in the middle of the 28 top experts of the Flame Divine Hall and muttered. Bang! The 1,000 feet large golden demonic wings on the back of General Lang Mo was extended in a manner that blotted out the sun. Demonic chi swept apart. His demonic wings were like extremely sharp weapons as they penetrated through the air and appeared above Tang Xinlian's formation with a swoosh sound. It subsequently came slashing down furiously. Flame Divine Mountain. Tang Xinlian's group stared at the golden demonic wings that were charging towards them. Their eyes turned exceptionally grave. It was likely that they had detected how powerful the incoming attack from General Lang Mo was. Immediately, mighty Yuan power whizzed out from their bodies and formed a 10,000 feet large flaming mountain above them. What a joke! When General Lang Mo saw the defenses set up by Tang Xinlian's group, cold ridicule was lifted on the corner of his mouth. Meanwhile, a cold glint glimmered in his eyes. The black ray of light tore through the cloud like a black curtain. After which, it struck violently against the top of the flaming mountain. Immediately, a crack began to spread from the peak at a shocking rate. Boom! A terrifying Yuan power ripple swept over from the sky before the huge flaming mountain collapsed. Wild and violent Yuan power spread like floodwater. Moans were emitted from Tang Xinlian's 29-men group after the flaming mountain was broken. A trace of blood appeared on the corner of their mouths. Do you really think that you can rely on a so-called formation to block a Samsara stage expert? The golden demon wings behind General Lang Mo flapped gently. He looked at Tang Xinlian's group, whose aura had become somewhat chaotic, and laughed coldly. Tang Xinlian's bright eyes stared back at General Lang Mo. She also laughed coldly and said, "It is a little too early for you to be celebrating." What a razor-tongued girl. After I break your formation, I wonder if you still dare to talk in such an arrogant fashion. General Lang Mo spoke in a stern manner. The golden demon wings on his back suddenly spread. His gigantic appearance was quite frightening. However, General Lang Mo's expression suddenly changed after he spread his monstrous demon wings. He suddenly lifted his head and saw that there was an extremely shocking ripple being emitted from all directions. The source of this fluctuation were the 4 armies of the Flame Divine Hall. Bright red light spread. Each of them vaguely had their own 100,000 feet large formation light symbol rising from within the army. The sea of people outside of Fiery Flame City had startled expressions when they saw the change in the sky. It was likely that they did not expect Tang Xinlian was hiding some other technique. What a cunning lass! General Lang Mo's eyes were solemn. Even he could detect some danger from the 100,000 feet large formation light plate located in 4 different locations. Clearly, Tang Xinlian only intended to tie him down in order to provide sufficient time for the 4 armies to set up their respective formation. You flatter me. Tang Xinlian laughed coldly. An icy chill surged from within her bright, bewitching and pretty eyes. A cold cry resounded within the surroundings. All 4 armies listen up. Divine for Saint Beast Sealing Demon Formation. Yes. Countless orderly cries reverberated across the sky like thunder roars. Bright light suddenly surged across the sky and the natural Yuan power began to boil. The 4 surrounding 100,000 feet light plate began to rotate. In fact, it was possible to vaguely see a green dragon, black tortoise, white tiger, and vermilion bird being formed on the light plates. Dream on if you wish to suppress this general. General Lang Mo cried out furiously before he clenched his large hand. Monstrous demonic chi swept over and actually transformed into 100,000 feet black light ring. A sharp howl rumbled from the light ring in the sky. Even the space itself became distorted. Great sky demon eroding sun ring. General Lang Mo slammed his palm forward. That 100,000 feet black light ring blotted out the sun and whizzed towards a large army. Fire Lotus Flame Shield, block. However, the space in front was distorted as the frightening black light came whistling forth. The formation that was formed by 29 individuals appeared in a flash. Vast and mighty Yuan power gathered and directly transformed into an incomparably huge lotus flaming shield. Bang! An earth-shaking loud sound spread rapidly as huge fire snakes sprouted off in all directions. The 29 figures covered by the formation barrier ended up being pushed back in defeat. Muffled moans sounded as they involuntarily spat out some blood. Formation, activate. Tang Xinlian's hand rubbed off the trace of blood on the corner of her mouth. Nonetheless, she showed no intention of pulling back. Instead, a cold cry suddenly sounded. Rumble. After her cry sounded, One could see the four formations in the sky suddenly beginning to rotate rapidly. Light rays swept from them. Subsequently, they crisscrossed with each other and gathered in the sky. The four light plates connected together and directly turned into a hundreds of thousands of feet large frightening formation. For spiritual images accompanied the formation. The formation directly trapped General Lang Mo within. The four spiritual beasts suddenly roared towards the sky before all of them rushed forward simultaneously. The green dragon swung its dragon tail, the white tiger bit with its teeth, black tortoise pressed downwards while vermilion bird flapped its wings. All of them firmly trapped that Lang Mo. Many mysterious and complicated light symbols were formed in the surroundings. After which, they came pestering after the Yimo general. The rate in which they entwined around the latter suggested that there was no end to them. Get lost! General Lang Mo howled furiously as monstrous demonic aura surged. He held a huge spear in his hand. The spear shot out in an overbearing fashion as it attempted to break the formation. However, the formation was already formed successfully and it was a formation created by the four armies. Clearly, even with his samsara stage strength, it would be extremely difficult for him to break free in a short period of time. When Tang Xinlian saw the large formation gradually trembling due to Lang Mo's resistance, her pretty eyes became focused. It was unexpected that a formation at this level was still unable to completely suppress this Yimo general. Gather! Tang Xinlian inhaled a deep breath of air before the seals formed by her hands changed. Suddenly, many light pillars came pouring down onto the formation. One of them landed onto Lindong on the ground below. The light pillar covered Lindong, preventing others from seeing what was going on. Under the cover of the light pillar, Lindong heard Tang Xinlian's somewhat anxious voice sounding within his ears. Lindong, hurry up, activate the power of the ancestral symbol. Suppress him. Lindong's eyes hardened before he nodded solemnly. It was far too difficult to deal with the Yimo Chi. One still had to rely on the strength of an ancestral symbol to suppress it. Understood. Finally, the time had come for Lindong to act. A concentrated light pillar descended from the sky and covered Lindong's body within. He was within the light pillar, but he was still able to see everything that was happening in the outside world clearly. Tang Xinlian was clearly extremely cautious in the way she acted. She knew that Lindong did not want others to know that he owned an ancestral symbol. Hence, when asking for his help, she cut off any clues that could possibly leak this information. Lindong, we are only able to trap the Yimo general. In order to suppress and seal it, we will need the strength of the ancestral symbols. All you need to do is to do your best to activate the ancestral symbol. The energy from the formation will provide you with assistance. Next, it will be all up to you. Tang Xinlian's somewhat anxious voice spread within the light pillar. Yimo Chi is a unique energy from the Yimo, and this type of energy did not exist in this world. Hence, it was extremely difficult to deal with, and this also resulted in the Yimo possessing an extremely strong life force. There was already a gap between the strength of Tang Xinlian's group and that of the Yimo. Thus, it was already a feat to be able to trap it for now. Lindong nodded slightly upon hearing this. Without further ado, he sat down with his legs crossed. Now that he no longer had to worry about his secret being discovered, he no longer had to hold back. An extremely deep black light was the first to whiz out from the top of Lindong's head. This black light was similar to the Yimo Chi. However, the former was mysterious and unfathomable while that latter was evil and cold. They could not coexist in the same plane. The black light slowly spread before it quickly transformed into a rotating black hole. Some of the surrounding bright energy light pillars began to emit some energy light spots. After which, all of them were forcefully devoured into that black hole. Bang! Lindong suddenly clenched his hand after the black hole appeared. Bright lightning glow gathered in his hand before countless lightning snakes whizzed out and circled around him. At this moment, he looked just like the Lightning Emperor, majestic and domineering. Black lightning crazily agglomerated together. At the same time, waves of terrifying ripples were emitted at a shocking speed. Tang Xinlian's eyes were grave as she focused on the black lightning gathered within the light pillar. Her hand involuntarily tightened. Xinlian, can we rely on him alone? An elder from the Flame Divine Hall lowered his head and involuntarily asked. Although all of them had witnessed Lindong's tremendous strength previously, this General Lang Mo in front of them was much stronger compared to Hua Chen and Xu Xiu. Even by combining the strength of their entire Flame Divine Hall, they were merely able to trap this General Lang Mo thanks to Tang Xinlian's perfect leadership skill. Standing beside them, the few elders from the Flame Divine Hall nodded upon hearing this. There was worry present in their eyes. They had finally managed to trap the General Lang Mo after much pain. If Lindong was unable to complete the final step, all of their efforts would have came to naught. Tang Xinlian's long pretty eyes narrowed slightly after hearing the doubts of the surrounding elders. A faint smile quickly rose on her face. Back when Master first said that we might have eventually rely on Lindong in this competition, I did not believe him as well. However, the eventual reality told me that this person was always able to create a miracle. Hence, I choose to trust him now. All the elders faced each other upon seeing this. Their eyes appeared somewhat strange. Tang Xinlian's face quickly reddened upon seeing this. She involuntarily chided in an embarrassed and angry voice, "What are all of you thinking of?" The elders laughed dryly before quickly changing the topic. Although Tang Xinlian was considered as someone from the younger generation, her position in the Flame Divine Hall was not inferior to theirs. Rumble. The black lightning within the light pillar became increasingly wild and violent while they chatted. The strength caused those 4 Flame Divine Hall elders, who had stepped into the perfect profound death stage, to focus their eyes. They quietly sighed. The ancestral symbols were indeed powerful. However, it seemed like there was still a big gap when compared to Mo Luo. Black light rippled around Lindong's body. He suddenly lifted his head. At this moment, one of his eyes seemed as dark as the night sky, and there was seemingly a black hole rotating within it and devouring everything. On the other hand, there was a lightning flickering in his other eye. It seemed to contain the Thunder World, and various forms of violence formed within it. Go! The Yuan power within Lindong's body galloped wildly. Suddenly, he violently swung both his hands. A black dragon and a silver dragon rushed out from his palms. They bared their claws and roared before they ruthlessly charged into the surrounding huge energy pillar. The bright energy pillar began to rage after these 2 majestic energy were poured into it. After which, there was a black glow and a lightning glow quietly permeating over the 100,000 feet light formation in the sky. Boom boom. General Lang Mo flapped his golden demon wings as he stood at the middle of the formation. Gathering his monstrous demonic aura, he continued to fight with the 4 spiritual beasts. However, it was evident that he was gradually beginning to gain the upper hand as this stalemate continued. Bang! General Lang Mo suddenly threw a punch forward. Majestic demonic aura transformed into countless number of ferocious wolves that ruthlessly collided against the green dragon spirit's light figure. A terrifying fluctuation directly shook the green dragon figure until it became a little illusory. Ha ha, is this your final technique? Completely worthless. General Lang Mo laughed out loud towards the sky. Flapping his demonic wings, he was accompanied by a monstrous demonic aura as his attack swept forward in a ferocious fashion, with each wave becoming stronger than the next. However, General Lang Mo's eyes suddenly shrunk as he laughed out loud. The 4 spiritual beasts once again pounced at him. However, black lightning beams suddenly shot out from their huge mouths. Promptly, these black lightning beams actually turned into huge chains that firmly entwined around him. Humph! General Lang Mo's eyes became cold. Yimo Chi swept out as he attempted to erode those chains. However, the Yimo Chi, which had taken the upper hand previously, emitted a deafening screeching noise. In fact, the black lightning chain surrounding his body seemed to grow tighter. This unexpected occurrence caused the expression of General Lang Mo to be greatly altered. However, he was no ordinary pushover. His eyes quickly turned cold before the golden light symbols on his back wings began to peel off. Following which, his body actually began to swell at a shocking speed. Bang bang. Within a short 10 breaths, General Lang Mo's body actually became 10,000 feet in size. Demonic chi swept out from behind him in a monstrous fashion. From a distance away, he looked like a demon that could destroy the world. Creak creak. The huge black lightning chains entwined around General Lang Mo's body began to emit a creaking sound as his body swelled. Clearly, it was beginning to crack. Tang Xinlian's group watched this scene from the sky. The expressions in their eyes became increasingly solemn. The ancestral symbol's strength that Lindong had unleashed was greatly enhanced after passing through their formation. Nonetheless, it was still not an easy task to suppress this General Lang Mo. Moreover, at this moment, it was clear that they could not provide him with much assistance. Everything would depend on Lindong's own abilities. Lindong, do your best. Tang Xinlian's bright eyes stared at the figure within the light pillar, before she involuntarily clenched her fist tightly. However, she knew that Lindong was merely at the perfect profound life stage. Even though he had two great ancestral symbols, it was clearly impossible for him to completely unleash the strength of those two great ancestral symbols. Bang! Lindong was expressionless. Both his palms struck forward once again. The two colored light dragons, which were filled with devouring power and thunderbolt strength respectively, once again whizzed forward. After which, they charged into the formation. If one was to observe carefully, one would discover that there were wiggling veins on both of Lindong's arms. Clearly, he was using every bit of his powers to activate the strength of the two great ancestral symbols. Many black lightning chains began to rush out from the 100,000 feet formation in the sky after Lindong crazily activated his two ancestral symbols. They appeared like many black lightning dragons that firmly entwined around the 10,000 feet large demon. Crack! General Lang Mo grabbed forward with his huge hand. Demonic chi surged as he directly broke a huge black lightning chain. Immediately, his eyes were thrown towards a distant light pillar. At this moment, he finally realized that the black lightning chains, which had irritated him tremendously, had actually originated from that spot. You ignorant fool! General Lang Mo howled furiously. He was just about to unleash an attack when an increasing number of black lightning chains suddenly shot forth. Next, they restrained him until he was completely unable to move. This general wants to see who can hold on for a longer time. General Lang Mo laughed furiously before he quickly flapped his demonic wings. The black lightning chains on his body broke an inch at a time. Many black lightning chains once again entwined around him after those chains crumbled. In a way, it ended up in a strange stalemate. However, at the current rate, it seems like the rate at which the chains were collapsing far exceeded the rate at which the chains were entwining around him. It is still insufficient, an elder said in a worried voice. Given Lindong's current perfect profound life stage strength, it was obvious that activating such a large number of black lightning chains was already his limit. Moreover, once Lang Mo managed to escape from the restraint, this formation would also end up crumbling. The other elders also nodded in an extremely worried manner. However, there was nothing they could do. Tang Xinlian gently bit her red lips. Her pretty eyes stared intently at the figure below, which was wrapped by a majestic black lightning glow. The yuan power within his body will not last for long, an elder suddenly sighed a moment later. It is about to run out. Everyone looked at the increasingly slow black lightning chains that were shooting out from the large formation, before their hearts sunk. It was clearly a joke for them to expect Lindong, a perfect profound life stage expert, to compete against a Pneumo general in terms of their energy endurance. Even if all of them were aiding Lindong, this was still no easy feat to accomplish. Yuan power, exhausted once again. The majestic yuan power originally gathered around Lindong at the bottom of the light pillar was completely exhausted. His face appeared exceptionally pale. Immediately, he lifted his head and looked at the 10,000 feet large demon chuckling in a proud manner. He gently smiled before he slowly shut both his eyes. He is completely exhausted. An elder saw the black lightning chains finally coming to a halt. Immediately, he smiled bitterly. It seemed like they were going to fail this time around. Tang Xinlian bit her red lips tightly. A moment later, she inhaled a deep breath of air. Her pretty eyes once again became stern while her hand clenched tightly onto her fire phoenix spear. She spoke in a deep voice, "All elders, prepare to fight." Although they had already used every technique that they had, they must not allow this General Lang Mo to disrupt the equilibrium on the battlefield. Else, one collapsing domino could spark a chain reaction which would cause them to wound up in complete failure. Understood. The many elders replied in a deep voice upon hearing this. Tang Xinlian once again glanced at the bottom of the light pillar. She was about to turn around and declare an all-out attack when her eyes suddenly shrunk. She abruptly turned her head. Her pretty eyes contained a dense shock as she looked at the edge of the light pillar. The Yuan power at that spot, which had originally been exhausted, was recovering at an extremely rapid speed. Its strength was actually many times stronger than before. Moreover, she could detect a trace of genuine death chi fluctuation forming within the Yuan power. Hiss. Some of the Flame Divine Hall's experts around also realized it at this moment. They involuntarily inhaled a breath of cold air before all their eyes revealed shock. Their voices, which were filled with surprise, involuntarily spread across the air. He is actually breaking through to the profound death stage. Majestic and formidable Yuan power was just like floodwaters as it diffused from the bottom of the light pillar with lightning speed. There was a faint black chi mixed within the Yuan power and a unique fluctuation was emitted. Hovering in midair, when Tang Xinlian and the rest saw this scene, shock flashed across their eyes. Having reached this level, they were naturally well aware of what was going on. This fellow is actually trying to break into the profound death stage at this juncture. A Flame Divine Hall elder involuntarily smacked his lips while his eyes were filled with shock. When attempting to break into the profound death stage, life chi will be deposited together with death chi and there are countless dangers during this process. Currently, we are in a battlefield. Any interruption will disrupt the equilibrium within his body and the death chi will dissipate. At that time, regardless of how powerful his body is, he will turn into a wither skeleton from within. That's right, what a bold fellow. However, it seems that this is the only option that he has. This fellow is staking everything on this fight. Tang Xinlian bunched her brow together after hearing their conversations. She naturally knew how dangerous Lindong's act was. If he failed, it was likely that the consequences would be extremely dire. All elders, protect him. Do not allow General Lang Mo to disturb him. Tang Xinlian tightened the grip on her Fire Phoenix spear as she commanded in a deep voice. Right now, if they were to lose the help from Lindong's ancestral symbols, there was no way they could successfully suppress that General Lang Mo. Understood. Many elders nodded and replied. They were impressed by Lindong's courage. Attempting to break into the profound death stage in front of an Yimo. He indeed had courage that exceeded that of an ordinary individual. Tang Xinlian's bright eyes looked at the interior of the light pillar. She could vaguely see a seated figure inside. Although that figure was skinny, she felt as though this man would not falter even if the sky was to collapse. It's no wonder even her usually proud teacher held him in such high regard. Don't worry. With me around, I will not allow him to disturb you. Using an increasing amount of force to grip the Fire Phoenix spear in her hands, her red lips curled into an enchanting arc while her red curly long hair scattered around like burning flames. Crack! Currently, the countless black lightning chains entwined around General Lang Mo's body were broken. Promptly, a ferocious smile appeared on his huge face. He quickly turned his attention towards a light pillar in the distance. Suddenly, his eyes became cold as he laughed strangely. You are actually thinking of making a breakthrough here? Such wishful thinking. Monstrous demonic chi surged from behind General Lang Mo following his strange laughter. It directly turned into a 10,000 feet large wolf's claw. This claw was covered with golden demonic symbols and even space itself cracked when this claw was swung. Stop him! Tang Xinlian's pretty eyes quickly turned icy after she saw General Lang Mo's attack. She cried out coldly before the surrounding top experts from the Flame Divine Hall replied in Yushan. After which, majestic Yuan power surged and clashed head-on with the 10,000 feet large wolf claw. Bang! A shocking assault wave swept across the sky. Wherever this wave struck, the ground below would be completely flattened. In fact, one would be hard-pressed to even find any pebbles remaining. The 29 figures were pushed back together while their expressions grew increasingly pale. Against General Lang Mo, whose attack was becoming increasingly fearsome as the battle dragged on, they began to fall into a disadvantage. Bang! However, even before they could catch their breath, the space in front once again cracked apart. Monstrous black chi transformed into 10,000 dashing wolves, before they charged towards them from every direction. Tang Xinlian bit her lips with the back of her teeth. She showed no intention of withdrawing within her cold eyes. Instead, the fire phoenix spear in her hand slammed heavily onto the ground. She let out an icy cry and once again commanded the 28 top experts from the Flame Divine Hall and clashed head-on with General Lang Mo. She knew that at this moment, she had to buy time for Lindong. Bang bang bang. An earth-shaking clash erupted in the sky. However, everyone could see that it was only a matter of time before Tang Xinlian's group was defeated by General Lang Mo. Hovering in the sky, the 4 armies of the Flame Divine Hall were watching this fight. However, none of them intervened. After all, they had to maintain the formation in order to suppress General Lang Mo. If they were to randomly intervene, the formation would end up in a mess and they would lose the opportunity to completely suppress General Lang Mo. In the distant battleground, Mu Lan and Elder Kai Yun glanced over from a great distance. However, they could not help them. After all, their opponents were no ordinary individuals. Ha ha, it looks like your side will be the first to lose a fight. In the furthest battleground, King Qianming smiled as he observed the fight below. After which, he looked at Qing Shi and Mo Luo a short distance away and laughed. Suddenly, he pressed his finger gently as he laughed softly. The space itself directly collapsed. A spatial crack hundreds of thousands of feet in size, that looked like a black dragon, was formed. Subsequently, it emitted a swoosh sound and charged towards the Qingji duo with lightning-like speed. Qingji smiled. Clenched his fist, green light surged around him. Promptly, thousands of green dragon-like tattoos appeared. Then, they transformed into an ancient green dragon palm that ruthlessly slammed towards the 100,000 feet large spatial crack. A sea of flames spread across Mo Luo's body. They rotated in a crazy fashion and transformed into a 100,000 feet flame dragon. A destructive force accompanied it and it clashed violently with the 100,000 feet crack that was charging over with lightning-like speed. Boom! A clash at this level, which could easily destroy the world, strangely did not emit a loud sound. The energy entwined with each other and the empty space became distorted. The energy assault wave was extremely quiet. However, even a perfect profound death stage expert would be wiped out if touched by it. A fight at this level was far too terrifying. It is too early for you to jump into conclusions. Countless green dragon-like tattoos formed under Qingxi's feet. Finally, they turned into a hundreds of thousands of feet large ancient green dragon, which seemed to stretch on endlessly. He looked at King Qianming in the distance and smiled. However, there was an overwhelming and authoritative demeanor within his smile. Bang! Another terrifying energy assault spread and 29 figures flew backwards. Their faces were pale as they spat out blood from their mouths. Meanwhile, their auras also began to weaken at a terrifying rate. Is this all that you are capable of? General Lang Mo looked at Tang Xinlian's group with a ferocious expression and laughed strangely. Tang Xinlian did not reply. Wiping off the blood traces on the corner of her mouth, the cold glint in her bright eyes became even more intense. After struggling briefly to stand up, she grabbed her fire phoenix spear and prepared to continue to fight. Girl, you are causing death. Murderous intent flashed within General Lang Mo's eyes. Suddenly, he clenched his hand before a 10,000 feet large black spear was formed. After which, he penetrated through the empty space and appeared in front of Tang Xinlian in a flash. When Tang Xinlian saw this terrifying attack, she clenched her silver teeth and once again prepared to use the crowd's strength to counterattack. Just as Tang Xinlian was about to counterattack, a whistle sounded from the bottom of the distant light pillar. A surging Yuan power shot to the clouds like a volcano eruption. Bang! That light pillar turned into the color of black lightning in an instant. after which it rushed into the 100,000 feet large formation that covered the sky. The huge formation shook at this moment. The eyes of the armies of the Flame Divine Hall that guarded the four corners were filled with wild joy. The power that they were waiting for had finally arrived. This power. Has he succeeded? Tang Xinlian's bright eyes suddenly turned towards the bottom of the light pillar. Majestic Yuan power erupted as the skinny-seated figure finally stood up. The aura emitted from within his body was a lot more powerful than before. Clearly, Lindong had currently broken through to the profound death stage. All four armies, listen up. Rotate the formation with all your strength. A joy surged on Tang Xinlian's pretty face. The ancestral symbol strength that Lindong could activate might only be a small fraction of the total force. However, it was the crucial bit. Only with the addition of his strength was it possible to truly suppress General Lang Mo. Yes. The four armies of the Flame Divine Hall cried out in unison after hearing Tang Xinlian's order. All of them did their best to activate the Yuan power within their bodies before they poured it into the formation. Rumble. The 10,000 feet large formation rotated slowly as black lightning gathered at the middle of the formation. Vast and mighty ocean-like Yuan power continuously merged with it. The formation shook abruptly. It was possible to see a 10,000 feet large black lightning chain suddenly whistling and shooting out from the center. This chain was extremely large while black and lightning-like symbols covered its surface. A strange energy was hidden within. Humph! Skywolf Demon Shield. A dense cold glint flashed within the eyes of General Lang Mo. He suddenly roared towards the sky. Monstrous demonic chi swept out and actually transformed into an incomparably large black demon shield. There was a wolf devouring the moon on his shield, and that demonic image looked extremely ferocious. An immovable momentum spread. The black lightning chains, which harnessed the strength of all four Flame Divine Hall armies, penetrated through the empty space at a shocking speed. It struck heavily against the black demonic shield in front of many anxious pair of eyes. An incompatibly loud metallic sound spread before many spatial cracks spread in the sky. Soon after, everyone could see some cracked lines rapidly spreading across the demon shield. Bang! Black lightning chains broke the demon shield like furious dragons. Finally, it emitted a whistle and arrived in front of General Lang Mo, whose eyes were filled with disbelief. Then it ruthlessly struck on his body and penetrated it. The black lightning chain was just like a huge dragon that lingered over Lang Mo's huge body, after which it penetrated his body. Black light symbols and lightning symbols quietly entered his body. They were just like maggots that adhered onto the interior of his body. His monstrous demonic chi quickly disappeared. Lang Mo's 10,000 feet body was swiftly shrinking at a shocking speed. Finally, a light pillar shot downwards from the formation and enveloped him. His earth-shaking-like aura finally disappeared completely at this moment. The four armies in the sky were completely pale. When they saw that Lang Mo was trapped within the light pillar and could not move, a wild joy surged on their face a moment later. Cheers erupted and resounded across the sky. After giving everything they had, they finally succeeded in suppressing this terrifying enemy. This video will end here.